The plot of Season 1, Episode 5 of Kekkai Sensen involves the main cast being confronted by a woman named Aligula, also known as the Queen of Monomania, who tears through the city in an attempt to find her lost love. That love being a literal fusion of two men sharing a body, because Aligula loved both and didn't want to choose between them. The very next episode chronicles a heartfelt tale of our main character befriending a mushroom alien, and the one after that involves a supernatural underground boxing ring hiding one of the most powerful creatures from the Alter World. There are many who would say that due to this seemingly random style, there is no distinct pattern to the structure of this story, and that it uses the premise of Libra's duty and the setting of Hellsalem's Lot as a way to see how much crazy shit they can pull off. And they wouldn't necessarily be wrong about that second one. It seems nonsensical, with the only prevailing theme seeming to be that of chaos. There looks to be no consistency here, apart from this story being wacky and off the wall. But that could not be farther from the truth, and I personally think that there is one element in this show's story that turns all of this from entertaining spectacle into genuinely great thematic story integration. What's most impressive to me about Kekkai Sensen, other than the visuals, is how closely the story structure and setting directly mirror its themes. On a broad, general scale, this narrative is truly allegorical. To explain clearly, for me, Kekkai Sensen is a pretty clear analogy of life and the human condition. There are obviously a breadth of other ideas tackled in this work, but this is the overall impression I find myself taking away from it. In ironic contrast to the way that Libra tries to maintain balance in Hellsalem's Lot, the city and the events that occur within it are entropic, random, eclectic, and don't make much sense. Eerily similar to the lives we live. We drift through life, in control of some things but affected by so many unpredictable factors, rushed down a current of randomness to some unknown destination. Life is chaotic, and Kekkai Sensen is the epitome of chaos. But in the end, the beautiful nonsense of each episodic thread of this show is given identity through the rough overarching narrative, that of Leonardo Watch and his emotional journey. The progression of this journey and his quest towards gaining self-worth and authority is very well realized, but the nature and inflection of that quest, and how they relate to the type of person Leo is, are most relevant here. As spelled out for us at the end of the first episode by the King of Depravity, our protagonist is completely, utterly normal. And that is what makes him special.
You've always seen yourself as just a normal kid. And you're right, that's exactly what you are. You're normally caring, normally cheerful, and you're normally nosy. You've a strong moral compass, concern for your friends, and honor. I know you don't see this, but what's normal to you? Well, it's far from it. Everyone else would call it courageous and noble. It's because of the person you are that you don't think twice about your own safety when it comes to helping your friends. 'Cause that's just normal to you.
Leonardo is family-oriented and caring. He wears his heart on his sleeve and does what he believes is right. Compassionate to a fault, he is guided by sentiment, and this point is absolutely vital because it helps him to act as the thematic fulcrum and heart of this story, allowing Kekkai Sensen to become the true essence of the human experience in narrative form. The vast majority of humans are innately sentimental creatures, guided by the heart. Our random-ass lives are given order by our desires and endeavors, and those desires take root in the deepest essence of our souls. We may not understand why life is the way it is sometimes, and we may not even understand why we do the things we do, but we do know what our hearts ache for. We know our desires, and we know who we care about. By and large, we instinctually follow the path that our hearts plead for. As such, Kekkai Sensen's story mirrors this personal and intimate dynamic throughout, from the literal first scene until the last. And Leonardo represents this sentiment through his focus on familial bonds. His desire to help his sister Michaela, White and Black, his friends, and anyone he cares about. He blames himself for the condition his sister is in, and so he takes it upon himself to make strides towards helping her, to live life and be empathetic whenever he can be. He is the heartbeat that provides focus, and though every episode may be full of craziness, the exclamation point at the end almost every time is a moment of quiet solace or reflection for Leo, carrying this sentimental and emotional theme throughout, connecting these seemingly disparate situations and elements, and giving it all order and identity. The show tends to use flowers as a means of symbolizing Leo's sentiment. Red ones are commonly associated with love, usually romantic love, but here they are representative of this loose but substantial string of emotion that grounds the series. In a lot of moments where Leo's empathetic or sentimental nature is touched upon, we see these red flowers, and their implementation seems to reinforce this theme time and time again. Very clearly, he is the heart of this story.
Hey, Leonardo. It wasn't just your eyes that we welcomed here. Not in the least. You know that, right?
Without a character in the vein of Leonardo Watch, Kekkai Sensen would be a directionless mess. But with him, it is actually quite profound and speaks of the essence of life and the human soul. How we strive to follow our heart in the chaotic journey that is existence. Aside from plot significance, there's a reason that he alone can tap into the power of the all-seeing eyes, allowing him to witness the truth through this ruin. Just as Leo sees truth, so too are we able to find the soul of the story and life itself through following him and what he stands for. And seeing as the first episode reveals that the vast majority of the story is Leonardo's account of his life since joining Libra, this further reinforces the idea of Kekkai Sensen being a perspective piece of sorts, despite the grand and cinematic presentation. A set of memories being sent through a letter to his sister is bound to be littered with these little emotional threads and bits of reflection, so it is no wonder that the first season beautifully reflects these tidbits of innate emotionality when it is being told from the viewpoint of such a good and heartfelt person.
You're a great guy, Leo.
He really is a nice guy, huh?
It is terrific presentation. A story documenting a string of disorder and mayhem, loosely yet distinctly connected by sentiment. It directly reflects the human condition, and the narrative never loses that core amidst the noise, which helps it to be one of the most interesting and endearing allegorical works I've ever seen. And that is all because of the pseudo-audience surrogate guiding our way with his supernatural sight. The good-hearted, empathetic, family-oriented Leonardo Watch. Many thanks for watching.
I have a younger sister. Not too long ago, this brave, noble, charming sister of mine offered herself up in place of me and lost her eyesight. This world around me, the world that I see with her eyes, it's stunningly beautiful and cruel. And now that my eyes are closed, it shines.